Also out this week, Robot and Frank, which actually, oddly enough, kind of ties together. So Robot and Frank, which is an interesting and an unusual movie about a guy who's a retired jewel thief. It's set in the, in inverted commas, near future. Frank Langella is this kind of retired cat burglar, not jewel thief, cat burglar. And his son, rather than coming to spend time with him because he's got early stages of dementia, he's kind of lonely, rather than spending time with him, decides to send him a live-in robot to help look after him. So suddenly he gets sent this live-in robot, which is pitched somewhere between, the robot butlers from Sleeper, the Woody Allen film, and David from AI, in that, on the one hand is very, very, more human than human. On the other hand is a robot. So suddenly in his life is a walking, talking machine. Here's a clip.
I hate hikes. Goddamn bugs. You see one tree, you see them all. Just hate hikes.
While my program's goal is to improve your health, I'm able to adapt my methods. Would you prefer another form of moderate exercise?
I would rather die eating cheeseburgers than live off steamed cauliflower.
What about me, Frank?
What do you mean, what about you?
If you die eating cheeseburgers, what do you think happens to me? I'll have failed. They'll send me back to the warehouse and wipe my memory.
Well, we're going to walk. We might as well make it worthwhile. Come on, keep up.
So what then happens is he starts to realise that actually this robot with whom he has been lumbered is a more reliable and more honest friend than some of the other people around, but also is possibly able to help him in rekindling the spark of his nefarious cat burgling activities that are now a long time in the past. And when you think about the idea, it sounds very sort of soft-centred and very, sort of flimsy, and you think, is that really going to work? Funny thing about it is, it works much more than you would expect. And one of the reasons it does, and one of the reasons it's interesting sitting next to Guilt Trip, is that it's once again, it's a film about, parents and children and the estrangement between the two later on in life. And of course, actually, the central idea in Robot and Frank is that the most fantastical element is the idea that actually his family would gather around him. The idea that, in fact, what they've done is that he's been sent a robot because actually the extended family haven't gathered around him. And it's strangely sweet and melancholic, and it's a really, quite charming portrait of both resilience and fragility. And it manages its science fiction element particularly well, because 5 minutes in, you stop thinking about, hang about a minute, he's got robot servant. Am I in a comedy film or am I in a Steven Spielberg? And 5 minutes in, you just completely forget about it. And what happens is it becomes a much more, yes, it's fantastical, and yes, obviously there's an element of frippery and foolishness about it, but it plays it rather well. It plays it all as a kind of fairly gentle, melancholic pace. And actually, it is about that. It's about, generally, science fiction movies about robots and androids. The whole thing is how human are they? Why aren't they the same as us? And in fact, do they have personality, or the rest of it? But the interesting thing about this is it's much more about what it means to be lonely and what it means to find friendship, and how that manifests itself, even if it is through a robot. And I thought it worked rather well.